Yeah, sometimes I get on here and I forget that I'm like live in the sense that I'm staring at my computer doing other shit. Eyes is the only way that slowly stops the ache. That's what I'm talking about. The things I have to take. Jesus never lands. It works its way inside. If the pain goes on. I have screamed until my face collapsed. I've waited as my time's elapsed. Now all I do is live with so much fate. I've wished for this, I've bitched at that. I've left behind this little fact. You cannot kill what you did not create. I've gotta say what I've gotta say, and then I swear I'll go away. But I can't promise you'll enjoy the noise. I guess I'll save the best for last. My future seems like one big past. You're left with me cause you left me no choice. I push my fingers into my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops me. If the pain goes on, I'm not gonna make it. Put me back together, or separate the skin from bone. Leave me all the pieces, then you can leave me alone. Tell me the reality is better than the dream, but I found out the hard way. Nothing is what it seems. I push my fingers until my eyes. It's the only thing that slowly stops me. But it's made of all the things I have to take. Jesus never ends. It works its way inside. If the pain goes on, I'm not gonna make it. All I've got is insane. 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 I push my feet.
Ask me if I give a fuck about it, this. Ask me if I give a fuck about it, clear. Ask me if I give a fuck about fine. Yeah, recently I just don't give a fuck about a thing. I just decided about it, Christ said it, got beside it. That you so dead to me, I alcohol for you to lie in. I'm sick of this on it, all the moments, and the key components. That let me follow, I know promises on my big orders.
Everything rings and I can see my breath, so I know I'm breathing, but I got no pulse. I just wanted to leave, but my heart ain't beating. I better get back to the black hole sun, leaving my gun. I don't need a phone, it's fun. I'm running this up, but I'm thinking I'm running my home, trying to keep my wrist closed.
I'm on a path and I know I'm not. Not coming back, cause I'll resurrect.
Gotta be someone who never come back. I was alone and I never wanna go back.
Ask me if I give a fuck about it, this. Ask me if I give a fuck about it, yeah. Ask me if I give a fuck about fame, yeah. Recently I just don't give a fuck about a thing, yeah. Ask me if I give a fuck about it, this, ask me if I give a fuck about it, yeah. Ask me if I give a fuck about fame, yeah. Recently I just don't give a fuck about a thing, yeah.
Does anyone know who Linda Lovelace is? Today has taken a interesting turn, and I don't know where to go from here. All I can do is just blurb out words into the atmosphere with no motherfucking help in sight. It's definitely giving Stranded on Earth vibes. It's definitely giving there is nothing sacred left vibes. There is no God. That is the vibe. There's no savior, there's no God, there's nothing. I feel that vibe around me. I have not fully accepted that though, but I'm not exactly offering that much resistance. Let me stop resisting. Because I feel like I'm putting up a wall where there doesn't need to be one. And what would happen if I just give in? Where would I end up? You know, I've been resisting a lot of people lately. People who ask me to do things, people who suggest me. Like I've had a lot of opportunities come my way in the last few months. And it feels crazy that I say that because what is an opportunity if you didn't go with it? I mean, is it really an opportunity if you didn't do it? I don't even count it, you know. If we were to play the game of everybody has to play, because when I'm in charge of the drinking games, I play fun games. Y'all don't. So I like to play a fun drinking game of how many opportunities have you had in life to do something and you turned it down, you know. And what were those opportunities exactly? And what are we talking about? The word opportunity means what? Oh, here comes the boring part. Because we have to define the word that we're using, because I know people associate the word opportunity with the word job, and that is not what I'm talking about. Opportunity, a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. You know how vague that is? You ever had any opportunities? A set of circumstances that enable you to do something. Like, what is something? You know, like, what are we talking about? An opportunity to go for a ride, an opportunity to get up and walk, an opportunity to read a book, an opportunity to watch a movie, an opportunity to eat a hamburger, an opportunity to do something. We're just talking about doing something. So then we need to get more specific. Like the question, what do you do for a living, is one of the vaguest questions I've ever been asked in my life. Or when people say, what do you do? I find that to be a funny question that I refuse to answer in the way that they ask. Because if you want a specific answer, ask a specific question. You cannot get specific answers with a vague question. Who are you? What do you do? What do you do for a living? You know, I'm not incompetent. I just don't play the game the way you want me to play it, is really what we're dealing with, right? So who has fun? Am I living in a pile of misery every day because I'm not playing the game the way people want me to play it, so therefore I'm mostly irritated? No, people get irritated at me because I'm not playing the game they want me to play, specifically with them. So they transfer when somebody is irritated at me, I can feel that. And it usually makes me just want to dance, you know, like I just enjoy dancing when they're irritated. Because what am I supposed to do about it? I mean, I don't want you to be irritated, but you're telling me to resolve your irritation. I need to do this thing the way you want me to do it. So, I mean, if I spend all of my time trying to absolve your irritation, I mean, what kind of life does that look like for me? You know? I feel like a lot of us, maybe not all of us, a lot of us do not understand that we are what we do. And until we accept that, we're not going to make any fucking progress. I mean, people for some reason are compartmentalizing their life into sections and not seeing that those sections are not, they're a continuous flow chart. They're not seeing those sections as them being alive and doing that. If we were to apply the "you are what you do," I think that would change a lot for people because they're living in a state of disassociation most of the time, where they disassociate from doing some things and make it seem like they're not with that, But then over here, you're that. Like it's very complicated. But I can't help anybody. I'm not trying to be Miss Somber on the screen today because honestly, like that's not my job, Nobody takes me seriously anyways, and that's good. I'm not exactly begging anyone to take me seriously in these motherfucking streets. So that goes into a dilemma that I've been having. I use that word in a certain arbitrary way because I like that word arbitrary. It's just so unnecessary. That's why I used it, Just sprinkle your sentences with unnecessary large words that are not even large. Just nobody knows what they mean, like the word macabre. Macabre is what? How do we spell macabre? Or macabre. Is it macabre? Let's hear it.
Macabre.
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 See, it's macabre. That's what Google says. MACABRE. Disturbing and horrifying because of involvement with or depiction of death and injury. So I would say that a lot of things that's going on right now is very macabre. It's giving macabre. I like that word. Instead of using horrifying, just use the word macabre. You know what I mean? Because it's like, that's what it is. That's what it is. But I'm going through something lightly macabre, where I am really after last night. And what happened last night? I mean, I went out last night and I had conversations. The first set of conversations I had was just talking about, I'm literally just talking about who I talked to last night for a chunk of time at the bar. The first set of conversations was with a divorced man who, there's a lot of context there, but I don't want to get stuck on his plot line because I see him all the time and it's always the same conversation that we have because he's pushing 50, right? A divorce, say, with, I've known this about him for weeks because I've seen him multiple times at the bar and he's just like somebody I talk to. It's like that bar friend, but we're not like really friends. So people see me with him and some people may not know anything. Of course they don't know. Nobody knows what's going on with anybody at a bar unless you fucking ask. Just observe, watch closely. Just because you see me with them at the bar does not mean I'm with them. People come up to me. I go up to some people very rarely. But he's divorced. I think he has like 2-3 kids that are grown and he lives alone. He's retired military. And I've been knowing this about him. And last night I found out he has a Snapchat. Why? Because he was standing next to me at the bar. I was seated at the end of the bar, which is my favorite place to sit because it's really awkward to sit in the middle of the bar because where do you look? I'm looking, there's 2 TVs at 2 ends of the bar. If you sit in the middle of the bar, unless you have somebody to talk to, where do you look? You just have to kind of stare straight ahead and there's nothing to look at. So, that's why I like to sit at the end of the bar. Except at the end of the bar I was sitting at last night, I couldn't really see the TV because, it was right above me. So I had to crane my neck to watch the Dallas Cowboys. That was not cool. So anyways, he put his phone down on the bar and I saw him open Snapchat and I said, wow. So why is somebody almost in their, like, we're talking about 50s, Why is somebody in their 50s who's divorced with children on Snapchat? These are the unsettling things that I experience. And it's just such unsettlingness for me. Like, it unsettles my spirit. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. Because it's just something unsettling about that. I'm not even going to get into that. So I found out that he had a Snapchat because he put his phone on the table. And so now I'm seeing like who has Snapchat. Like I get to see in real world experience firsthand who has a Snapchat, because these Snapchat people are always leaving their phones around me, you know. And then I see on their phone on the home screen, like when they plop their phone down, I see all their apps, you know, and I'm like, you have a Snapchat? That's interesting. Red flag, red flag. It's getting a little cringe. And so after talking to him, and I was not into talking to him last night at all, because I'm just like, bye, dude. He ended up leaving, and he has to announce anytime he leaves, he has to make this big dramatic exit. Like, I'm going to go home and da-da-da-da-da. And I only came out da-da-da. I'm like, I don't care why you came. I don't care why you're leaving. Just leave. Leave with elegance. Don't explain. Nobody cares why you're here or why you're leaving. Okay? Least of all me. So just motherfucking leave. And he did. This is the retired military dude that I'm always saying, right? So then at some point, a female, what happened while he was still there, because this always happens. When he's standing there, somebody always tries to talk to me. So this female tapped me and was like, I really like your hair and your tattoo. And then I struck up a conversation with her and her boyfriend. And they are 25, 26 years old. And I basically got the gist of their life and had some conversations. And she apparently was a teacher during the pandemic and blah, 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 blah. So I was talking to them for a while. Then at some point they had to leave. So then I went out back. And that's when it got disturbing for me. You know, it was already disturbing because, you know, it's the divorcee who has Snapchat on his phone. Then it's the young couple, and they're clearly going through domestic issues, but trying to sell me that they're perfectly happy. And one of the main the takeaways I took from that couple, they've been together for like 7 years, right? He was trying to talk to me a lot, right? And just like, not like disrespecting her. He was just sharing with me in conversation because they're both sitting there. And I was asking him about his job. Totally objectively, not interested, not hitting on him. So he was in the middle of trying to talk, and she would start talking over him. And then I would see him kind of like get really tense and like roll his eyes. And I'm like, this is not a healthy relationship. She would literally talk over him. Like her boyfriend is speaking and she just would not shut the fuck up. And I'm like, at some point I had to tell his girlfriend, shh, he's trying to talk. Can you imagine? Can you imagine me? I had to tell the girlfriend to basically, in the nicest way possible, shut the fuck up so he can talk. Because he just is trying to say one thing, literally just one thing, and she would not let him. So that was interesting. Finally, they left. Hugs, kisses, mwah, mwah, all that bullshit. I go up back. I'm thinking I'm finally going to have some peace and quiet. You know, smoke a cigarette, listen to my music on my busted headphones because only one of the headphones worked. But I just got some new ones, thank goodness. And a cordless weed eater. Can you imagine? Anyways, how lame is that? So a battery charged weed eater. Can you imagine? That's crazy. That's actually most of what they sell now. I didn't know that because I've never bought a weed eater a day in my life until today. And I'm going to do the weed eating around here. And it's like, wow, I have weed eated before, but it was like the gasoline operated one, and that motherfucker's heavy as shit. So it's weird going to Walmart and saying that the only thing they're really selling in there is battery operated weed eaters and battery operated lawnmowers. It's very interesting. So anyways, spent $78 on that motherfucker. Just letting you know, that's a plug. I'm not getting paid to promote that product. I haven't tried it yet to know if it works. I've been pulling up the weeds by hand. That is a workout. All right. Just letting y'all know. I actually weed the yard by hand. Bro. It's a lot of work. Okay. So anyways, but it doesn't destroy the ground as much, but you pay the price. It is a lot of physical labor. Anyways, moving on. Okay. 2 minutes out there. I've already said this in another live stream. Doesn't matter. I'm just reiterating this because the point is I thought I was going to get some like peace and quiet for a minute. I went out there with the intention of just smoking a cigarette and sitting in quiet. I had no anything on my mind of let me go out here and hopefully somebody comes and talks to me. Literally did not have that going on. And even if I did, that doesn't mean somebody would, right? But I didn't. My intention was go out to the back and smoke a cigarette in peace and quiet. And there was nobody out there. I had sat down. I'm like, a Newport, music in my ears. And here comes somebody. That disturbs me. It disturbs me why these males are making beelines for me. And they're coming from all walks of life. It's not, if it was just like one type of guy, then I could explain it away. Like, okay, that makes sense. It's just the same type of guy, based off their job description. Like, it's just all these dope dealers. It would make sense because it's like, if you keep attracting a certain type of guy, like like in the financial bracket, I'm just playing into a certain game right now in my head. I'm attracting dudes from all walks of life. And that disturbs me because it's like, doesn't make any sense to me. And I genuinely mean this. I don't understand because, why are dope dealers hitting on me? As somebody who's back in society, like I'm not used to so many different kinds of dudes hitting on me. It's still a phenomena for me. So that's what I'm talking about it. It's not normal. I'm not like being dramatic. I genuinely don't understand. Like, I don't want anyone to think that I'm doing this for like some narcissistic, like pussy rub. Like, it's genuinely disturbing to me and I don't get it. Okay. So last night was Mr. Homeland Security. Now the conversation ended with me saying I was going to go to a different bar because I was sitting with Okama. Okama had gotten off work. So she was sitting with me at some point. And this other lady that I don't feel like getting into her plot line right now, she came out and beelined for me. So I didn't invite her, but she always beelines for me. She was the night that I met Marcus, the mayor. She was sitting at the table because she saw me sitting with him and she beelined. I'll cover her plot line later. I'll call her Shakira. That'll be her nickname. Names have been changed not to protect their identities. It just doesn't matter. So she beelined and she was talking to Okama as I was talking to him. And at some point I'm like, okay, I stopped the conversation because I'm like, me and Okama I already had paid for a wristband. I had plans to go to a different bar. So I told him I'm going to be going to this other bar. And he's like, okay, I'll be there. I'll be there too. Basically. So there was this understanding we would see each other over there. And once again, we had been able to talk at my main bar. Because where we were sitting, there wasn't a lot of loud music. We could hear each other without screaming. I knew that going to this other bar means you can't really have a conversation because you have to, no matter where you're sitting in this bar, you have to yell. Or you have to literally put your mouth in somebody else's ear for them to hear you. It forces you to either scream or be extremely intimate with somebody's eardrum. And I just got accustomed to pulling somebody's ear to my mouth. It's very sexual, honestly. Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. Like yin yang twin shit, So that guy, Mr. Homeland Security, I told him I was going to be going to that bar. And I thought I was, but on the way there, we got sidetracked and we went to another bar. And so that last night was like an iconic night because it was the first time in a long time that I've hit 3 bars in one night, which is why I got super fucking faded, bro. I got way faded last night, man. I was off the shit, man. I'm just like I was off this shit. Okay. Now, let me tell y'all something. As we were sitting at a table, okay, I sat at a table at the next bar, the final bar, the mistress bar. There's only one main mistress bar. There's another bar that I would sometimes go to, but it's like not even it doesn't even make mistress because it's so bad. It's like trying to be Miami, and I've been in Miami to never want to go to that bar because it's just like you could never. Okay. It's a rooftop bar. Those who know, they play like the mod. It's so bad. So I did it last night. I'm like, I'm not doing this bar again. Like they need to like not have a cover. I will not pay a cover. It's that bad. Okay. So I'm sitting at the table, right, with Okama and the lady that had been with at Scruffy's, I paid her cover last night in 2 bars, and I paid for her drink. So I spent 20, 30, like 35 on this female that I don't even like at all. I paid for her cover in 2 bars, and I bought her a drink last night. And she's a bitch. She is a bitch, and she's evil. So she was sitting with me, right? We'll call her Shakira. She's a divorcee. She's still attractive for her age. I'll give her, she's still, I'd think she's attractive, and I'm not gay. I'm just saying she's not an ugly woman. Okay. She has, I'm not going to say what she does for a living. Blah, blah, blah. She's divorced from a military dude. Okay. And that's a certain type of personality. It's one thing to be divorced. Like, divorcees have like this certain energy. We're not going to get into that right now. But then there's the divorcee from military dudes. There's a certain energy of, I was married to a military dude. They just say it and like we all know the plot. That's why they say it like, I got divorced from a military dude. And they're like, and we all go, it's very awkward. Because when you're talking to a female who's divorced from a military dude, she is full of vitriol. I don't care what age it is. I met 2 divorcees from military dudes last night. They look similar, literally in physical appearance, but they're 2 entire different age brackets. One's in her, she's 30. The other one is almost 50. Both full of the same hatred, raw hatred, like pure raw hatred for men. And that's a certain vibe. So I was hanging out with that last night. So I was sitting with Okama on this side, and she's on this side, right? I look over, and guess who I see at a table? That female that I have mentioned in many live streams. The one that I say looks like she's part of the Tweedledee Tweedledum Ranger groupies. I need to compile like a bibliography, or what do you call it when you list all the characters of a book? You know how George R.R. Martin, he thankfully does like a character list of all the houses in his books so you can keep track, because it's like you got to know all the subplots of the subplots. It's so intricate, right? So she's not even in the plot, bruh. She's just somebody who has association with the one dude that I've had sex with since my ex. I have to say since my ex, because if I say this year, it implies that I had sex last year. So that's why I say since my ex, 6 years ago. So nobody assumes that, well, this is the only person she's had sex with this year, because that is a fact. He's the only person I've had sex with this year, but also in the last 6 years, right? So this female that I'm referring to that I saw seated at a table, like one table removed from me. She is somehow, we don't know how exactly, associated with the one dude that I've had sex with since my ex, who was at my house like a few months ago, right? And I've mentioned her in many of my live streams because I saw her last weekend, and it seemed to me that she was sneak taking pictures of me by pretending to take selfies of herself. And so she did that same thing last night, apparently, because Okama caught her doing it, and her friend did it too. It's like they're trying to take a picture of me by taking a picture with somebody else. So they both feel me on this. I'm sitting with Shakira. Shakira has never allegedly been to this bar before, because she always said, I'm never going to go up there and pay that cover. So I paid it for her so she could see. She's wanting to go out on the field and, meet more people. So like you have to go to different bars, right? So she was like, it's a whole new world. She didn't really like it though, because she's Colombian. So we're sitting there. And then at some point I see that blonde female from the Tweedledee Tweedledum Ranger groupie gang. And she was sitting with a whole new group of dudes. Like every time I see her, she's like, there's that Megan Thee Stallion bar. Every time you see me, I got some new shoes. Every time I see this bitch, she's got some new booze. Every single time. I have never seen this female with the same dude ever. And it's always like multiple dudes. It's not even like I'm with a different one dude every time I see you. It's like she has a group of dudes that she's with, a different group of dudes every time. So last night was no different, and I was not shocked. It was not shocking. There she is with a different group of dudes from last weekend, right? Whoop-de-doo. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. So tell me why. And this is the same female that has, I would call it stalking me around the bar if I were to get like really just tell this specific plot line of this female and like what her deal is with me. because I don't know what the fuck her deal is with me. She has like some mild obsession with me because, and I don't feel like getting into all that again right now, right? So last night, this is what Okama tells me. I didn't even know this, but I did note this on my own. I'm sitting there with Shakira, and that female and her homies that she was with honed in on Shakira next to me. And one of the dudes that was affiliated with Tweedledum of the Tweedledee and Dumb, two females associated with the dude that, okay, he decides to come to that table and sit with Shakira because we're sitting at different tables, but we're sitting next to each other, right? So he's talking to her, blah, blah, blah. At some point, I see him take his camera and like, let's do a selfie together. I didn't know why he was wanting her to take a selfie because they had just met. Who does that? You just meet somebody. But I know, and then he showed her the picture, right? And in the picture, you could see me in the background. And he kind of looked at me and I'm like, y'all are not doing this shit. And then Okama said, I told her that. And she's like, yeah, I saw that blonde girl like taking that selfies, like where basically you're forcing other people to be in the photo against their will. I don't know what this is called in social media culture. You know what I mean? Like when I've taken pictures with people out in public, I've made sure, like if I'm going to do let's say me and Okama are out in public and I say, let's take a selfie. I try to be respectful of people in the background because I'm like, maybe they don't want to be in the picture. But this new shit or whatever the fuck it is, I don't know what you would call it, where you're trying to get somebody on film without pointing your camera at them. So instead, you just make it seem like you're taking a selfie so you can get a picture of them in the background. That's what that bitch is doing. She's done this multiple times. She did it last weekend where she does the whole like looking at me and pointing, and then she does her phone like this. And like, I'm clearly in the line of view for her to take a picture. She did the same thing last night. And Okama said she was catching her doing it. So Okama was doing this in the background. And it's like, and then she said the female just stopped. And it's like, what is your deal? What is your damn deal, bruh? Get some fucking help. This is just a side plot. Like, I literally don't care that much, but it's like, I am noting this as a super, super subplot, like totally, mostly irrelevant. The only relevancy this bitch has in my life is I see her at the bar and she does this weirdo shit. That's it. It's so fucking weird, bro. It's so fucking weird. Like, have you ever had somebody take a selfie and they're purposely trying to get you on film that way? Because like back in the day, it would be like this, like you sneak pick, like you can pretend to be like holding your phone and you just kind of like sneak a picture. So now they're taking pictures of you by pretending to take a selfie so they can get you on camera. So this bitch is like wanting me in her pictures and shit. And I don't know why. Am I a celebrity? Like, what am I, Nicki Minaj? Like, do you want a fucking autograph? I need to start carrying around a Sharpie. So when a bitch sneak takes a picture of me, you know, because that's what fans do with celebrities. Like if I see like Jay-Z out in public, I'll do like a selfie pic where I can, because you want to be seen with them. That's my whole point. You want to be seen in the picture with me. And why is that? You feel me? Why is this person wanting to be seen in the pic? Like, why don't you just take a picture of me? But it's like she has this need to be seen in the picture with me. Her and the people she hangs out with, some of them, not all of them. They do that. Like, they can't just like take a picture of you. They have to like be seen in the photograph with you. Like, what kind of culture is that? It's giving like some underground, like Deep Throat, Linda Lovelace vibes. Like some weirdo, like culture shit, like secret keys and whisperings and like just like a little cult little thing, like a group, like mob shit, you know, gang shit, but not like the cool gangs, like super corny, like pumpkin spice latte gangs. It's giving Mean Girl. So the whole point is Mean Girls. It's a cult, right? And they have like secret codes and like little things they do that are like inside jokes and only they know about it. So you're always like the brunt of their jokes and they all sit there and and you don't know what's funny. That's what these bitches be doing. That's why I was dying laughing last night, because I also had an inside joke. You know what I mean? It's like so high school. Like these bitches is so fucking high school. It's very immature. It's not giving sexually mature. It's giving Very, very immature. And like, it's not like this is not even the internet. This is real life. Like, this is how you act in real life. That's why I just sit there and laugh. And I was dying laughing last night at all of those people. I could not stop. I was just watching people and just dying. I could not stop laughing. It was great TV. I have not been able to, I don't think I've ever laughed like that in a bar in my life. I don't think so. That was so fucking funny. I just want everyone to know that. But I'm going to start carrying around a Sharpie, so the next time somebody wants to take a selfie with me like I'm a fucking celebrity, I can offer them my autograph. You want me to sign your boobs? You know? You want me to sign your fucking forehead? Like, take a picture, you know, like what's your motherfucking deal? That's incredibly rude. But these females, it's like, you must be in like the gutter of life to have gutter whore behavior. Like, people don't have, like, mean girls like to think that they're above you. That's why they're mean girls. But it's like, you have gutter bitch behavior. Like, there's nothing elegant about being a gutter bitch. You know, like, it's not, I mean, anything you can do, I can do better, honestly. Like, if we're going to talk about humiliating somebody, you know, I have some pretty creative ways to help you humiliate yourself. You know, we can talk about it. I mean, all a bitch needs to do is try me. And it's like, if you try me, we can take it there. But you're not going to like how it feels. Since you want to be master of puppets over there. You know, master of puppets. And you're not. That's what's crazy. Like, you're literally not. You know, these small towns breed some of the weirdest gangs of people that get these big heads about literally nothing. It's a small town thing. That's why small towns are way more toxic in a lot of ways than big cities, because the overinflated egos of people who have lived in an area their whole life, and they're very territorial, you know, like at bars, like, this is our town. Who are you? Like, it's that type of energy. This, like, they're territorial over a lot of shit, like ideas. Like, these females here, and I know this because I used to work here years ago. I worked all up and down this and through this city. Okay. In the sense of just knowing people, I say up and down and through this city. I had like 3, 4, 5 different jobs, technically. This is where most of my adult work history started, in Columbus, Georgia. If you look at my resume, you'll see Columbus, Georgia on it. You want to see my resume? You want to see my work history? Some of y'all are real curious. You know what you're not going to find on it? Prostitution. You're not going to find the word influencer or entrepreneur. Sorry why I fake laugh. I guess I just grew up in a different age. You know what I mean? I was born in 1987. I'm not here to disrespect the younger people, but honestly, some of y'all are really dumb. Okay? Some of y'all are real dumb. And I'm not blaming it on your motherfucking age. It's just like, you just choose to be dumb as fuck. You know, I'm not overly harsh on people who are younger than me. Like, if you're like, 30 and up, I don't really cut you any slack. But it's like this black dude I met I forgot this little tidbit. I totally forgot about him until this moment. Like, he disappeared from my hard drive and now he's reappeared. I did have a conversation with another dude at Scruffy's in between another conversation of another conversation. He like squished his way to pay for a drink, and he just started talking to me. And at some point I really pissed him off because I said that he looked Persian, and he got very offended by that. And I'm like, why? You have Persian features. It's very Persian prince. Well, come to find out he's Somalian. And I'm like, why would you be offended? And he was just so petty, and like, he's so like obnoxious, and like, I'm just like, just fucking leave, nigga. Like, for real. I called you a Persian prince and you got mad. Like, okay, nigga. Like, that's that nigga shit. Like, get out of here. Like, for real. Being mad about everything. Like, trying to find offense at every goddamn thing. I give up. I'm offended you stood next to me. Since you're offended now, I'm offended that you're motherfucking here. Big on. Big on, girl. Pinocchio and Geppetto over there. Because there's some Geppetto and Pinocchio action going on at the Mistress Bar. That's why I said Master of Puppets. It's giving the Tweedledee and Tweedledum. You know, it's Pinky in the Brain energy, where somebody follows orders from somebody else and does their bidding. It's that female shit. There's always that one female in charge and everyone else does her bidding. That is not me because I'm not her. Okama doesn't do my bidding. You're lame as fuck. Okay? Grow up, girl. This is not first grade. It's really lame to see the pecking order in that relationship. Have you ever seen the pecking order in females where you can just see who's running the show of all the... Have you ever seen a group of females go out for a night on the town? Find the one in charge, because there's somebody who's like, come on, girls, we're going. Like, that's her. Okay, Jessica. And they all like follow after her. Wait, Jessica. Look for the boss bitch in charge. Okay. She's always exasperated. Oh, these girls, you know, these girls, these little these chickens. That's what we call them, chicken-headed hoes, you know, because they always following the queen mother, the little hen, mother hen. Okay, whatever you say to do. The matriarch of the group. They're not a wolf pack. They're chickens. I'm the wolf pack. What do we do with chickens? We pluck the feathers out, bitch. That's it. We don't even kill them. That's what freaks them out. Just take all their fucking feathers, leave them featherless, and let them live. They won't be able to. That's the point. I will defeather you, bitch. Because you out there preening with all your... No, whore. I don't even have hair. So why the fuck do you think I would care? I did this to myself. I saw my barber at the bar last night. Can you imagine? The dude who gave me my first haircut in like 10 years. The dude I went to get this cut, but he talked me out of it and gave me a butch lesbian cut instead. And I only went to him twice because I just couldn't decide if I wanted to shave it or grow it out. So he walked by me last night. He's like, oh my God, you're the one that I gave that haircut to. And I'm like, I know. And he's like, you did it. And I'm like, I did. He remembers me because of course. And then it's like, you got the buzz cut that I said don't get. And he was kind of disappointed. He's like, well, you got to come back to me. You know, you got to come back. I'm like, of course I'm not. I have my own razor to do this to myself. You know what I mean? I don't need to go to you anymore. For what? Pay $40 for some little nits, you know? You feel me? Like, but if I can do this to myself, and not only this, sis, if I can do this to myself and if I can tat myself, what am I really capable of? Think about it. See, you chicken-headed hoes out here. And I mean this, fuck me. Get me out of the equation. Remove me, because I don't think I'm a badass. I just know myself. That's it. It's just about knowing yourself. I just know me. And you don't, and you try me. That's it. I don't think I'm a badass. I don't walk around like I'm a badass. I don't believe I'm a badass. Nothing. I just know me, and I know my boundaries. I know them very distinctively, down to the smallest minute measurement of like 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. I know how many inches I'm going to motherfucking give you. Millimeters, centimeters, and everything in between, molecular, bitch. I know the atomic level of my boundaries. And don't make me touch you. You don't want me to touch you because you keep getting closer and closer to me. Like, have you ever seen a bitch get closer and closer to you? Like, you see her start from one end of the bar and she slowly makes her way downtown, walking fast. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You want me to touch you? You want me to put my hand on your back? You want me to wrap my arm around your neck? You want me to rub your back too, baby girl? I don't know. Might make you sick, girl. Might make you sick. Might make you sick. I have a tendency to make people ill. Like they vomit, on camera and shit. It's great that I have that effect on people. Why would I feel bad? I make you sick. I honestly don't feel bad. I'm just making you throw up your sickness that's already there. That's what it is. Like when somebody vomits on camera when they're talking to me, it's not because I made them sick. They're already sick and I just bring the sickness out of them. I'm the poultice. I'm like, goddamn, I don't know, like shit that pulls shit out of shit, I have a way of pulling shit out of people and I don't put a whole lot of effort into it. It's giving sunshine and pulling the mold off of your skin, I'm not good at helping shadows stay shadows. I cast shadows, yes, of course. I mean, the sun hitting a tree, there's going to be a shadow near me. But it's like, we don't like to stay in the shadows and then create shadows in shadows of shadows, mirroring shadows. Lots of shadows within shadows within shadows. There's only one shadow that we need, and that's enough for me. Have you ever encountered somebody who has a shadowy soul? And on that note, I need to pee. Let me leave you with some music. Let's see. I'm just going to pick a song that I feel will most suit the mood based off of what's suggested to me on the screen and not having to press anything on the search bar. I'm going to play this song. That's what I feel to do. We've heard it before, but I'm going to do it again. Excuse me.
I gotta feed the streets. My pistol gon' bleed the streets. Ski mask on my face. Sometimes you gotta cheat to stay ahead in this bitch. Drink surf like it's liquor. Street life, I have you catching up to God quicker. Sticker, AK-40 to your lipper. Let the chopper bang on you like a blood or a cripper. Flipper, so much bread, I'm a gymnast. Made so much money off of dummies, Yeah, gang. I'm Mr. Body Catcher, Slaughter Gang Soul Snatcher. Ain't no regular F-150, this a fucking rapper. No capper, street nigga, not a rapper. Chopper hit him and he turned into a booty clapper. Smith and Wesson, I'm 4L gang reppin'. We done baptized more niggas than the damn reverend. Kappa Alpha, me and my gang, we do all the stepping. Who you checking? It's FN, shoot east or west end. Yeah, I heard Poppy outside, and he got the double R, drop you outside. Check the weather and it's getting real, I'll be outside. I'ma drop this shit and have these pussies dropping like some motherfucking type of nigga that can look me in the eyes. I despise when I see you, better put that fucking pride to the side. Many times, plenty times, I survive, beef is live, spoiler alert. This nigga dies, heat blickies, and you know the weed sticky. My finger itchy, the Glock like to leave hickeys. Your shooter's iffy, a street punk can never diss me. I come straight up out the six and we don't spell sissies. I fuck with her and fuck with her and her. I hit up her, tell her do the for sure. Voodoo curse. Got him while I flew the Turks. Know the dogs had to hit him where we knew it hurts. Gang shit, that's all I'm on. Yo, gang shit, that's all I'm on. Nigga, gang shit, that's all I'm on. Gang shit, that's all I'm on. Nigga, gang shit, that's all I'm on.
Let's start here because I don't want to be linear. This is a serious question. Why are 20-year-olds getting Botox in their foreheads and in their lips? or lip injections. Why? Why are 20-year-olds getting Botox in their foreheads? Why? Also, why are so many people getting veneers? You know that veneers, and I'm not trying to like really linger on this because I don't care. Really, I don't care. I can talk about a lot of shit, but ultimately I don't care. But it is a question that should be posed. Like, why are so many people getting veneers and you're not like 70 years old? Is something wrong with your teeth? Like, there's a lot of people who are very young who are getting veneers. Like, why? What the fuck is wrong with your teeth that you need veneers? I thought veneers was supposed to be for old people, the elderly. But it seems to be in everybody's situation right now. What happened to your fucking teeth, bro? Drink some fucking water. When it comes to physical health, which there's a lot that goes into that, but just quite simply, drink more water. It's not that complicated. Stop eating sugar. Drink more water. Stop eating sugar. Quit drinking soda. You should not drink soda ever, honestly. I mean, there are some things you should not eat ever. Okay? I'm just going to keep it real. Have I eaten it? Of course I have. I grew up eating it. Okay? But you shouldn't eat it. I just have to say this. You should not drink soda. You should not drink soda ever. But people are addicted to soda. It's crazy, right? Like, I'm not addicted to soda, and I grew up drinking soda. What was my favorite soda growing up? What was yours? Did you have a particular soda? Do you live a soda-free life right now? Because some of us did not learn that lesson in our 20s that we should stop drinking soda. Like, when it came to my own physical health, I had to learn on my own, like, what don't to eat. Because nobody told me when I was young that drinking soda was bad for me. I mean, it became plentiful in our family over time. There were a lot of foods that stopped existing and they were replaced with other foods. Like, for instance, my mom used to cook a lot of meals from scratch, and then that slowly became like boxed dinners and frozen foods, and then it became sodas and everything else, you know? I'm just saying, I don't know why I need to talk about this tonight, but I do, because it's in my mind to say it. Not wanting to get too deep into this, but it's like, you shouldn't drink soda. You should not. Go watch how it's made. It's like people are addicted. That's the point. My mom was addicted to fucking, what was it? She was addicted to Coke for a while. And that's funny, right? Like, you're talking about cocaine. Might as well be, because Coca-Cola was invented in this city. Y'all do know that this is the origin, the birthplace of Coca-Cola, where I'm literally the town that I'm in. The house that the dude who invented Coca-Cola, it's down the street from me. Literally down the street. They moved it here. It was originally somewhere else, and they moved his house, and it's a historic home. You can see where the founder of Coca-Cola lived. And you can find original Coca-Cola bottles in the Chattahoochee River. I have found some really ancient old fucking bottles, right? And what was originally in Coca-Cola? It is not a myth. Mythbusters, it is true. The original formula of Coca-Cola included, and you have to understand, Coca-Cola was invented as a pharmaceutical. Okay? When Dr. Pemberton is the name of the dude, look it up. Dr. Pemberton, in this city, Columbus, motherfucking Georgia, or in the area, but I know his house is in Columbus, Georgia. In Georgia, in the area in which I live, the Chattahoochee Valley, Coca-Cola was invented. Dr. Pemberton was a pharmacist, a chemist, and he invented Coca-Cola as a remedy. And it did include cocaine, the coca leaf. Yes, that's where Coca-Cola comes from. The coca leaf, bitch. Y'all, the myth is true. So it's not a myth, okay? People are addicted to Coca-Cola, but it doesn't have cocaine in it. Why are they addicted to it? How can you be addicted to something that's not a drug? We're not talking about food. We're not talking about eating zucchini. You don't really find anybody who's addicted to fruits and vegetables, do you? Have you ever met anybody like, what are you addicted to? Bananas. I just can't stop eating them. I'm just motherfucking addicted to them motherfucking apples, bro. Like, have you ever met an apple addict, a grape addict, a cherry addict, a watermelon addict? Like, I'm just so addicted. No. I'm talking about eating it, not blending it. I'm not talking about juicing it. Fuck the juicing people. They're fucking psychotic. I don't feel like talking about them. I'm talking about eating it. I've never met a watermelon addict a day in my life. I've never met a blueberry addict. I've never met an orange addict. People like it in the juice form. They're addicted to the juice form. Like, I drink a lot of orange juice, but I never go to the store and buy oranges to eat. Why not? I drink the damn juice because that's that addict shit. Never trust a bitch that refuses to just eat fruits and vegetables and instead chooses to juice them. Something is wrong with her. That is a red flag. She's like, I'm juicing. And everyone's like, yay, that's healthy. Juicing is literally not healthy. Especially people who rely on that as their sole source of income. I mean, not income, dietary needs. That's like makes up a chunk of their diet. A main chunk is just juices. Like, that is not to be trusted. That is a red flag. That's a fucking red flag. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? Of course it's everything. But the point is, I do not know why, on a personal level, I do not know why I keep meeting these guys. I don't. Like, I'm not in control of this. Once again, this is uncontrollable. So it sounds like, I know what it sounds like because I can objectify myself in this way, meaning I'm speaking objectively about me, objectifying, and say to myself, there's 3 people on the screen. You know what I mean? I'm one of them. Like, what is your damn deal making it a big deal that dudes are approaching you? Like, you sound like one of those self-absorbed people. I'm talking to myself as if I'm not myself. You sound like one of those self-absorbed people who's like amazed that guys are approaching you. No, I'm not amazed that guys are approaching me. I'm disturbed because they're approaching me because I don't know why they are. I don't know what the fuck they want. Right? I don't know. And it bothers me. It does. It's like I'm offended when they do, but then it's like I can't make them not approach me. I am, like I say, I am offended when these dudes approach me. and lightly, I'm offended, right? For some reason, guys think that it's complimentary when a female gets approached by a guy. Like, I approached you, that's a compliment. It's not actually a compliment. Or when guys say, all those guys are always approaching you. Do some research on Linda Lovelace. It's like getting gangbanged by hundreds of people at one time. And you think that's a compliment? Like, why would a guy say all of these guys wanting you is like a compliment? Like, it makes your pussy more valuable. The more dudes that want you, your fucking pussy value goes up. That is not a good thing. Go have a train run on you at that point. Why would I want all like 50 different dudes to want me? Might as well go get gangbanged. Who's out here wanting a bunch of dudes to be attracted to them? Go get in a gangbang. Like, seriously. Go have a train run on you at that point. And it's another dick print in my face what do you want? I don't know what they want. Like the dude last night, I have no idea. He came out with a purpose. Like, it wasn't like he was coming out and casually sitting. Like, I want everyone to understand, but maybe you don't, This motherfucker made a beeline for me. Like, it wasn't like he casually saw, like he's walking by and he's like, oh, he like saw me, had already seen me. And then he knew where I was going. And then he came out and was like, hey, you know, that's okay. But it's like, what did you want? I have no idea what the fuck he wanted. Like, he sat down with a purpose. Like, we're going to talk. And I'm like, okay, let's talk. And he's like, and then we started with intensity. We had an intense conversation from the jump. But it's like, what do you want though? It irritates me, you know? Like, why is all these dudes like wanting to talk to me? Like, what do you want? Like, what is that? Do we need therapy? Like, what do you want? Like, you know, and I don't know what tonight's going to be like. I'm kind of lightly, you know, I've already decided I'm going to go out. Everyone says, of course you are. You say that every week and you're never going out. Yeah, but I'm only going to one bar tonight. And I also said that last weekend and I didn't. I've been doing this about Saturdays every time, this whole time. Saturday's always been like, I'm not going out. And every time I do, you know, and it's just like, what do I want? You know what I mean? That's exactly the problem. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. I mean, I do know, but it's like, I can't make that happen. What I want. So I'm getting like lesser wants given to me, but it's not really like my main, what I really want. You know what I mean? Like, I really want a steak, but I settled for ground beef. Like, that's going to the bar for me. I really wanted, you know, pulled pork, but I got, you know, I didn't get it's like I'm getting the meat, but I'm not getting what I ordered. That's what going to the bar is like for me. I ordered, you know, a hamburger with fucking fries, but I got a slab of cow. It's like just raw, like animal out here, you know, and then I have to cut the steak. Do you know what I mean? That's what these dudes are. I have to cut the steak myself, bro. I have to butcher the meat to make it something that I can eat. Do you understand? Like, it's just raw cow out here, bro. What am I going to do with a raw cow? Have you ever butchered a cow? Oh, you think it's so easy going into the motherfucking bar and just seeing all those already pre-cut meats in there. You know that somebody had to cut that for you. See, when I worked on the farm, I learned a lot about butchering meat from afar. The owner would be like, all right, I'm going to go butcher one of the cows. All right. Did I go? What, do you know how disturbing it is to see a cow butchered? Let me just say this, because I have to say it. It's one thing to kill a deer in the wild. Farming is another. Farm animals it's called growing your own food. Like, you grew the cows. That's why I do hate eating farmed animals. I would prefer eating only wild meats if we were to really be like what you really want to eat. If I had it my way, if I'm going to eat meat and I am a carnivore, I would only eat wild game. It is just something so gross about eating an animal that was raised in a pen. And then it's like, that's your friend on the farm. And then you killed him and eat it. It's something about that. So when I eat a cow, I'm like, it's not my friend. Because I'm like, God damn. Like, can you imagine eating the cow that you grew from a baby and you watched grow up and then you ate them? Like, and that's your cow on the farm? Like, ugh. At least in the ocean, I don't know who they are. But I still don't like eating meat. But I'm saying it's more far removed. Farm animals are deeply personal. It's like eating your pet. And it just goes on and on from there. And it's just like, it gets deeper in the wormhole of meat eating. I know that. Can you eat your friend? Like, that's what eating meat is like. And I don't enjoy eating meat. I just want that to be for the record. I do not enjoy it. I just ate a few pieces of chicken and I did not enjoy it. It's a means to an end. I don't enjoy eating meat. I'm not that person who's like, ooh, a big juicy steak. Yum. I had lamb last night or yesterday. I don't enjoy it, man. So it's the same thing when I go out to the bar. I don't enjoy butchering the cow, but I got to butcher the cow because I got to cut a slab of meat to find something for me to eat here. Because otherwise, it's a waste of my, like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? I go to a bar. I have to make it worth my time. Especially when the cow walks up to me and moos in my face. Okay? What am I going to do? Talk to a cow for hours? Maybe. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on his farm there was a cow, E-I-E-I-O, moo here and a moo there. That's what it's like talking to these dudes. It's like talking to a bunch of barnyard animals. One moos, the other one caw. The other one, is a donkey. They're all barnyard animals, bruh. It's just given here or there, papa, And I just want everyone to know that, because if I could, I would. It's illegal. And even if I could get like a hidden camera, I mean, I could. There's a lot of things I could do. I could go super fed on this shit and like have like a hidden camera. And when I go to the bar, I just have that POV camera, like body cam, and just like film the whole conversation. Kind of like that Homeland Security. Like, I met 2 dudes last night. And I know they were undercovers. And I said that to them. I said, you are clearly an undercover. It's so obvious because you're trying so hard to not look like an undercover that you've inadvertently dressed like an undercover. And they were like, the Avi that I have for my YouTube channel now, I can't remember his name, but he played in Goodfellas or Casino. He played in all those movies. Iconic gangsta flick dude. But it's the ha ha ha, like it's the way undercovers laugh. It was that type of laughter with lots of teeth, very SpongeBob episode, and it's like, you are a Fed, and I know you're a Fed. And then Mr. Homeland Security comes out to me, and it's like, this is how crazy I am. And it works in my favor, because you should always be careful what you tell people. Yes. So I like to pretend that people have hidden body cameras just so I can pretend that I'm under investigation. You know what I mean? Because maybe I am. You never know who's wearing body cameras out here. Anybody can buy one and record you and provide content for the internet somewhere in some underground chambers. People do this all the time. There's whole YouTube channels, IRL channels dedicated to that shit. Except they use their cell phones a lot of times. But if I get a body cam, I can record conversations just for YouTube. How would they ever know unless they found out about my channel? My channel would clearly have to grow, to be making some noise like that. But it's like, would they ever find out? Maybe not. And just record a series like that. People would sign up for that because it's so real. It's real TV. Real TV. Not like the reality TV on TV. Like, I'm wearing a body cam going to a bar, and you get to see everything that's happening. You get to see the dudes that approach me. You get to see it all. I am talking to Old MacDonald had a farm, like E-I-E-I-O. It's also giving Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, and Eeyore is his friends, and Kanga and Little Roo. It's very Winnie the Pooh. See, last night, the dude that I was talking to, he was 42. It's been a while since I've talked to a dude that old, that I'm aware that he's interested in me. And I sensed that I don't know how to explain this, but when he was talking to me, I sensed in myself that I could be interested in him in the current moment, meaning I wasn't interested in him at all. But because he so directly placed himself directly in front of me, and because I know his plot line in the sense that I remember people. He had sat beside me last time at the bar, at a different bar. Now he made sure, well, this time I'm just going to sit directly in front of her, facing her. Now what will happen? The same thing, because I'm not interested. See, what had happened was he saw me at the bar, the other bar, and so he asked to sit next to me. And I said, sure. And then nothing happened. And he said, I know what it is. He thought about it. He's like, it's because it was too loud, and the way we were sitting, and she didn't know that I was interested. So he caught me in a place by myself, because I was the only one out there. So he pinned me down. He's like, now I gotcha, And he's like, it's me. It's me. It literally is me. That's how he came out of the doors. Because you have to understand, it's these glass doors that open up to this back patio. And he walked out like, it's me, the one you've been waiting on. Someday a prince will come. And I look up like, because you have to understand, people have their whole like world in their head. They have their own agenda. So I saw his agenda. His agenda was, I'm the one she's waiting on. He flung open the door and I'm sitting there like, it's you. And I did think that in my head. I'm like, you're the one I've been waiting on. I don't know about that. And he had that energy of, it is me. His whole body language was very comfortable. He's like, I'm sure of me. I know it's me. I know I'm the one you're waiting on. You just don't know it yet. But when you realize it, you'll know for sure it's me. And I just looked at him, and this was the vibe. We didn't say this. We were just vibing around the vibe, And I'm just looking at him, and I'm like, I see your face. I see your body, yada, yada. Aesthetically, like I see the shape of it all. I saw the shape, but I just couldn't see the person. I'm just like, I see how all of those body parts go together, and I'm not calling it ugly. I'm just not attracted to you. I'm not. I don't know why. There was nothing wrong with him physically. You know what I mean? But I just personally was not physically aroused by him physically. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I tried to find him attractive. Have you ever tried to find someone attractive because you're like, well, I'm bored, nothing else to do. So you just kind of sit there working on it. Oh, I've been there. I've worked on being attracted to a lot of people. You just keep looking for it. You're like, it's a job. It's a job. It's a full-time job. You have to keep looking for those things to be attracted to. And I'm like, I can see that, Nice beard, nice mustache, nice hairline. Nice hairline, nice full head of hair, nice tats, nice calves, nice biceps. He had a very he wasn't overly bulky. He was very well proportioned. He didn't skip leg day, but it was just, everything was regular. He wasn't too bulgy, but he let me know. He had a shirt on that was just tight enough, but it wasn't too tight. I have seen some dudes, and I'm embarrassed for them, that literally squeeze into the shirt. Instead of letting the shirt fall upon your body and fit, it's just like you pushed it. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen somebody pushing their clothes? Push it to the limit. Like, your clothes stretch. Yes. All right. That's good. Clothes should not fit like steel. Like chainmail doesn't stretch. Okay. We want a little give in our clothes for when we sit down. You know what I mean? For when we move, you want a little stretch for literally when we move, not for when we're standing still. Have you ever seen somebody who's sitting down? Have you ever seen a human being who's stationary, meaning they're not moving, and you literally see their clothes, like you see something moving, and it's there's something wiggling underneath the surface, and you're like, are they coming out of their clothes? Like, ooh-wee, it's a lot. Like, why is their shirt, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, they're pushing their clothes to the limit. Like, yes, clothes are stretchy. Like these yoga pants that I see these females wearing as outerwear. And we still have not figured out in the last 12 years why that is. We have not solved that mystery of why yoga pants are now considered to be pants that you wear to the bar. I saw a female who had on tennis shoes and workout pants at the bar last night, like the form-fitting leggings, and she wanted everyone to know that ass. And I looked at it. I stared at her ass for a while because it was just on full display. It was like two basketball balls squished into a tiny little bag, like a Ziploc bag. You know what I mean? Like the Ziploc bag is stretching around the basketballs, but it's like about it might as well just pop. You know what I mean? So I stared at her ass and I'm like, okay, it's a big ass. And that's all I said. And then I just kind of moved on. But she was standing there with such a presence that was, it was giving, oh, ye mighty ass, oh, ye mighty ass. Like a song must be wroteth abouteth thy ass, thy ass, thy ass. It's like, do I need to get into some Song of Solomon things, like some Shakespearean, like pontifications about that ass. Oh, like if you read Song of Solomon or any of the romantic poetry that from the archives of the past, so many poems of great eloquence, lots of thous, therefores, these and thuslies, and doth thouest, loveth thee any more, amore, thy breasts are like two twin. Very cringy, very erotic. That's what the Song of Solomon is. It's just porn. But anyways, I think a lot that female last night, the way she was standing, like she wanted that ass to be on full display. It's like she wanted a poem to be written about it. Thy ass, how do I count the ways? Thy ass, set my world ablaze. Like you just need that poem written about your ass. The way you keep emphasizing that as your only feature, that you forgot about your face. I've noticed that a lot of females who put a lot of obsession in their asses literally forget about their faces, and their faces take on this very strange squished look. I don't know how to explain it. It becomes like a crescent moon face, with the sunken in thing. I don't know. Their ass gets bigger, but their face starts to something happens there. It becomes, not saying it's an ugly face, it just becomes less and less. It's a lessening effect, because we don't even care about your face anymore. We just want to stare at that ass. Like, just turn around. Like, don't even talk. If that ass is something that you think is your best feature, do not talk to me. Don't even bother talking to me, because it's that ass that we want to see. For you to talk to me, you'd have to face me. So just turn around. You know what I mean? Just turn around. Don't even speak. Let's just see that ass. Let that ass do the talking. You know what I mean? Start clapping that ass is what I mean, because that's how your ass talks. And if I'm telling you to clap your ass secretly, because you may not be smart enough to know this, but secretly I'm just saying, fuck your face. Honestly. Turn around and shake that ass for me, baby. You're like, yay. And I'm like thinking, wow, this person is incredibly mentally stunted, not realizing that I'm insulting them to their face. They're too unintelligent to recognize that. And that's my own little private joke with myself. Like, I'm literally disrespecting you to your face by telling you to turn around. You know what I mean? Like, this dude passed me this morning. Me and Okama were sitting out there drinking coffee in the public areas of the town square on the cobblestone. And this elder, there's lots of people walking around. It's market day. If you didn't know, now you know. And there's all sorts of people who come from all over regionally for this day in downtown Columbus. A lot of rural people. Anyways, the point is, this older man is walking by. And I end up getting up off the bench, and we're kind of like now behind him. And it's not, he just stops. He says, excuse me, stop. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you have a beautiful face. And I'm like, very bizarre. And so I said, nice sunglasses, because I didn't know what to say, because I didn't think he had a beautiful face. But I noted that he had some Ray-Bans on. So I'm like, I like your Ray-Bans. And did he actually think I have a beautiful? I don't believe any of that. Anytime somebody tells me I have a beautiful face, I honestly think that they're lying and trolling me, and I avoid those people. I don't like when people say I have a beautiful face. Just leave my face alone. I don't know I don't know what's going on with my face. And I don't like when people tell me I have a pretty face. It bothers me, and I do mean that. Because I don't believe you. So when you say it, it honestly adds a level of gaslight to my own brain of like, you're just like sitting there saying mean things to me. And I get insulted when people say I have a beautiful, I do. I get insulted. I don't try to make it make sense to yourself, but I am. I don't want people to lie to me. Just leave me alone. I feel like it's some charity work. People do, you're really pretty. I I feel like you're doing charity work. Like you feel like I need to pick me up. So you're just telling me something because you think it's the nice thing to do. Just leave me alone. I'm fine. I don't care if I have a pretty face. I genuinely don't care. There's nothing. The whole point is whatever I look like, whatever that is, define it in a like category of ugly or not. Like whatever my face looks like, it doesn't matter. I cannot change it. So just leave me alone. Okay? I've been struggling with this my whole life. So don't tell me I'm pretty. Don't tell me I'm ugly. Just leave my face alone. Don't acknowledge it or something. Like ignore it, whether it's can we stop defining faces as pretty or ugly? Because it's very annoying. Just leave it alone. I don't fucking care if I'm pretty or ugly. I don't know what my face means. I don't know what it means. Because y'all have put a meaning on a face, right? By calling the face pretty or ugly. You gave that a meaning. Like my face means ugly. My face means pretty. You know. And people who are called ugly as children do grow up with a certain feeling that I cannot say is different from people who are, as children are told they're pretty. Because it's just simply, whether you're called pretty or ugly as a child, it's still the emphasis of your physical appearance that you're not supposed to be fixated on at any point in your life, but especially not as a kid. We're not supposed to be thinking about what we look like as children to think ugly, pretty. And then when you tell a child you're pretty, they don't know what that means. 5-year-olds do not know what pretty means. Because what does that mean? A 5-year-old doesn't even know what ugly means. They just know it means bad. When you say you're ugly to a 5-year-old, they just know ugly means bad and pretty means good, right? So if you're ugly, that means you're bad. So if you've told a child they're ugly, they connotate that's a connotation of I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad, you know. And when you've told somebody they're pretty, and there's a whole lot else involved, obviously, environmentally, but you're telling that person they're good. Females get more of the pretty programming, and boys get more of the ugly programming, mostly. Now, of course, there are boys in the group of boys that are called you're cute, they're the lovable, adorable ones because they're the pretty boys, and all the older females, oh, that's such a pretty baby boy. He's the pretty baby boy. I grew up with Caleb. Caleb was considered to be the beautiful baby boy. He had blue eyes and black hair, and he had a darker complexion. Everyone doted on him as the most beautiful baby boy, Caleb, and he was always babied as the prettiest baby until he was an adult, and still is to this day. And I personally do not think he's that attractive now. It's weird to me, like the people who are labeled the prettiest as children don't usually grow up being the prettiest. It's weird. Like I knew a lot of girls, like they were always called the pretty ones in school, and they did that the pretty girl, pretty boy as a did not grow up to look like that. But the whole point is sitting there, it's adults that do this shit. Children don't do this to each other. They don't know what anything is in that way. Children do not care about looks. Adults, the environment that they grow up in teaches them good is pretty, ugly is bad. Talking about physicality, right? So then children are trained to think this way by their parents, by the adults in the environment. And then they grow up with that. And then they start doing that to each other in middle school and high school, right? Because at that point, the programming that your parents and our parents' generation, because it wasn't just our parents that did it to us, it was everybody in the adult generation who did it to us. Our teachers, people, just adults. We're just talking about adults and children. It does take a village to raise a child, and a village did raise all of us. But what was that village? Was it a good village or a bad village? Mine was a pretty toxic village that raised me. It all goes back to my parents, but they weren't the only people who helped raise me. They say they were, but nah, like there was a lot that raised me, bruh. A lot of fucked up shit. That's why it's taken me so long to unravel it all. 18 years of training in toxicity, and it takes about 18 years to undo the damage. Yeah. Maybe longer, maybe never. I was doing a little bit of light reading about rape today, not in the sense of rape, but just like um, reminding myself of the trauma and the PTSD. You know what I mean? I just did like a brief Google search, even though I already know that, I'm somebody, let me just say this. I'm somebody who did not really get a lot of help after I was raped. I think most people don't go to therapy after they're raped. Most people don't get a therapist. Like you just deal with it, most. Um, a lot of it has to do with stigma, but a lot of it has to do with money. Because it is very expensive to get to see a psychologist. It's one of the most expensive doctors to see, is to get a mental health, a mental emotional health doctor. Crazily enough, you would think that that type of doctor would be more accessible, like talk therapy, but you're talking about upwards of $200 an hour for just a basic session, and a lot of insurance does not cover like psychs and that type of doctor. That's like a specialty field, which I find interesting. But a lot of people who are victims of rape, and I'm talking about adults in this situation, they do not get therapy. I know I only received a little bit of therapy after I was raped. And because of that, and I should have continued, but I decided to do something that was called leave town as my therapy. But I was talking to her, and that doctor is one of the few people in my adult life that I can cite as really helping me. There's not many adults that I can name as an adult that I can say that person actually for real helped me. And she's one of them. I don't know where the fuck she is. She apparently left the practice in Auburn, Alabama after I was her patient. Never to be seen or heard from again. But I got to the point, it got really unhealthy between me and her, because she gave me basically gave me an around the clock number. And this is not the typical thing that people would do in this field, because you want to keep that doctor patient dynamic, because psychology therapy can get really involved. Like if you've seen the show Sopranos, he goes to his therapist, it becomes too enmeshed. That's why they focus on that plot line so heavily in the show Sopranos, because doctor patient shit, especially when it gets into therapy, can get very attachy. And it's not designed for that. So I became very emotionally attached to her. Like she became like my mom in my mind, and I just needed that. And she was nice enough in her field to give me her number, like on some call me anytime. So I was having sessions, basically, like I would call her at the drop of a hat. I need to talk to you. Okay, let's fit you into an appointment, like real quick. And it was in Auburn. So I would be driving this is the fall of 2009. I was driving to Auburn like multiple times a week to sit on the couch and talk to her. And she's the first person that allowed me to see my own personal sexual trauma. The first person that opened me up to that, which is why she told me I needed to get a fucking MRI. And so that's why I got an MRI. And that's the only time I've ever had an MRI in my life. Have you ever had an MRI? Why? That's my MRI story. It's a very interesting experience. It was pretty scary, honestly. MRIs are fucking terrifying. I was scared, bro. Like, you want to talk about fucking like, not because of the claustrophobia. It's just like something else. Like you feel like somebody's inside of you, and they are. It's fucking creepy. And because of the MRI that was taken of my brain, and my mom has all these files under lock and key, she won't even let me look at them at her house. Decisions were made for my well-being. And I was this was 2009. Those decisions did not get fully implemented until 2010, when I was in Houston, is when I got the message that things have to happen for you to be taken care of, basically. And I didn't get therapy after that because I was too scared. Actually, I started to become paranoid. I started smoking weed is what happened. And I became paranoid of doctors altogether. And You know, it's because like you go to doctors your whole life and then suddenly you stop going to doctors. Like that was me. At the time when I decided to like cold turkey the doctor, I was on like a shit ton of different types of medication. Adderall, like when I finally went cold turkey on all the pills and the potions and the doctors, I had like a cocktail, like a pharmacy. And this was in Houston. I had fucking B12 shots. I had fucking Prozac. I had fucking Adderall. I had some pain pills. I had motherfucking a bunch of shit. Like just help, like all sorts of pills, bro. And so I just decided one day, I started smoking a lot of weed and I just decided that I was never going to take pills again. I just decided like, I'm not going to go to the doctor ever again. And that was when I was in Houston, living at U of H. I just smoked a shit ton of weed, man. I only went to U of H one semester and, I literally just dropped out while I was going to school. Like I just stopped going to classes because I got high. And but while I was getting high, I was also involved in the music industry at the same time. So I'm meeting up with rappers various days of the week, going to their studios and then going to class. So then I was smoking weed. Then I'm like, why would I go to college when I'm already in the music industry? So I just was like, fuck this shit. You know? And I was still enrolled in school, U of H, that my counselor hit me up the fall semester. And she's like, are you coming back? Because I had a scholarship. And I'm like, nope. And I just never went back. Never been back, bro. Never been back since. Yeah. The closest thing that I've gotten to doing any college courses is some classes in herbology. Online, but I mean, I cannot do school ever again. I'm so schooled the fuck out. Like just thinking of school makes me want to vomit. So in a lot of things I'm self-taught, but who can say for real, because you have to have a piece of paper to prove that you know anything. So I just say I'm uneducated. You know, it's easier that way. It's a de-stressor in the environment when I just, people would profile me as highly uneducated. And I don't care if they think I'm stupid, because in a lot of ways that plays in my advantage if they think I'm dumb. You know, people who feel the need to prove their intelligence are the dumbest people, because there's really nothing to prove there. Like, you should be intelligent. You're a human being, God damn it. So this extra shit of like, let me prove my intelligence, and I look at these degrees, I have my master's. And have you ever met somebody who's just a school addict? My brother-in-law is, you know, he just can't stop going to school. He's still in school with, you know, 2 adopted children. Well, he just graduated. He got his doctorate finally, excuse me. But he'll probably find another school to go to. Just can't stop going to schools. It's like a thing for them. They're just addicted to schools because it gives them this empowered feeling of like, I have all these degrees, and that's their whole identity, is these degrees. I got my bachelor's in this and another bachelor's. I got 3 bachelors and a master's and a motherfucking doctorate and an associate's degree. And I also do side classes on the side. I'm also taking these other classes. There's always taking classes. Always. I sign up for piano classes and I also sign up for these classes. They always have classes. So they seem to be very industrious, very studious. And I don't know what that means for people, like as a personality structure. Like, what does that mean for anybody? Like this need to be so studious and industrious. Like, what is that supposed to mean for me in relation to you? Like, what is you're Mr. Studious. You're always in school, always studying, always making sure you're just studying, reading Rainbow. And it's like, so how does our relationship look like? There is none. So why the fuck would I care? Go read your motherfucking books, Mr. Reading motherfucking Rainbow. Have fun. Go to school. Get all your fucking caps, bruh. I can't vibe with that. You know? And those motherfuckers are always the dumbest ones. They got so much book smarts, so many textbooks. They talk like a fucking textbook. They think they know everything. You can't have a fucking conversation. They're so uptight because they just buy the book. They are a book. They don't even know it. They're just like such a book. They just rattle off book shit. Have you ever talked to a book, bro? Like, it's just like a book. It's like, can you loosen up and be a human being, Mr. Book, Mr. Google search, Mr. motherfucking quantum, everything's rigid and fun. Like, you don't have a good fucking personality. And people like that always do cocaine. Always. They're so fucking uptight. They gotta have like crazy, they gotta do crazy shit to have a release. That's why these nerdy white dudes are always the ones busting the powder so heavy. And these dudes at Harvard, you know what I mean? Them rich white boys that are always in the books and at the job, like that's why them motherfuckers be doing the lines the hardest, as the movie American Psycho showed us all. Go rewatch that movie and get a depiction of what corporate America is, because that's what that movie's about. Shout out to Christian motherfucking Bell. One of the best to ever do it in cinema. One of the best. One of the best, bro. Where's the string going? I literally have no idea. Excuse me, I gotta pee.
I bring some backwoods up out of home and a cup of ice. There's some rubber bands up out there too, homie. Yeah. It's 3 p.m. 80 degrees outside. I'm in something that go real fast sitting outside the corner store. 6-figure car ain't got no business in this area. If it ain't one thing, it's a motherfucking nutter. We trapped together, then that's my motherfucking brother. I pay her bills and buy designer, but I don't love her. She just play a part when it's time to smoke.
See, the thing about my personality is I'm aware of like way too many types of people, and I hate saying that. Like, I hate the term types of people, because are there really types? It's hard to say. It seems to be that there's types of people, but it also seems to be that there's not types of people. But I'm just aware of too many, like, I'm not stuck in like a box where I'm only dealing and open to talking to certain kinds of people. Like, I talk to a lot of everybody, so I'm just like very situationally aware of just so many moving parts. It's just sometimes overwhelming, which is why me going to the bar is a very overwhelming environment. Even me going to Walmart today, I'm not somebody who likes crowds. I'm doing it because for so long I avoided crowds. So it might look like I love crowds, but you have to understand, I went years literally not around people. I don't think I say that, but it's like I have to paint that visually and really get into the details of what my life looked like for so long. And Okama was included in this. Okay. So when I go to the bar, I'm technically self-torturing because I don't like crowds, but I'm putting myself in them because for so long I didn't. So I'm just trying something different. But I do not, like when I went to Walmart today, I did not enjoy it. I was pushing the cart, and it's funny. I was messaging BK on Discord, and I took a picture of me in Walmart, like the cart view. It was like very iconic, but it's like, I felt this overwhelming like awareness of what Walmart is, to the point where I'm so aware of what's happening in this thing called Walmart that it's freaking me out and I want to leave, but it's just like, just go get what you got to get, 4 items, and then leave. And I did. And it's like, I do not like going to public places. Sometimes me just walking by a restaurant that has a lot of people, I will avoid. Like if I'm walking downtown on certain nights, and I see like there's like, it's outdoor eating, and there's a bunch of people sitting in a group, and I sometimes will just like walk across the street and to avoid them. Like I don't like, it's just something in my head. Okay. Like I went to a coffee shop today and I felt immediately uncomfortable, like just standing in the coffee shop. I don't feel comfortable in public places, in these environments. It's just these manufactured environments. Okay. I don't feel comfortable in the environment and I don't feel comfortable with the people. And there's nothing wrong with me. Society, whatever the fuck that means. Males and females. Society, male and female. That's why I don't like the word society. What are we talking about? Males and females. No matter what you identify as, you're a male and society would say that me not wanting to be around a lot of people, that is technically in psychology, as much as a lot of people claim to be antisocial, if you were to go see a psychiatrist, they would label you as having or diagnose you with antisocial personality disorder, which can be categorized under sociopathic or psychopathy, but more so sociopathic, personality disorder. If you don't like being around people, they say there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. There's a reason why. But see, when you're dealing with a psychiatrist or psychologist, meaning somebody you're talking to, they're there to label you. They're not there to understand you. They've already made their mind up. They want to they ask you pointed questions. They don't have time for an explanation. They're there to diagnose you. They don't care if what you say makes sense. They're going to say it doesn't, because that's the book. The book says you don't make sense. The book says if you don't like being around people, there's something wrong with you. Doesn't matter why you don't like being around people, because the book doesn't say that. That's why I don't fuck with doctors, because all this psychology shit that's being utilized in offices is outdated. It's outdated methods being used in most psychologists and psychiatric, just mom and pop establishments. Now, if you want more of the updated versions, you got to go to those really high priced, open-minded people that operate in the realm of psychiatry, and they're few and far between, and you got to pay a lot of money, and they're usually in California. Yeah, the open-minded psychiatrists. That's why Californians are a certain way, like more spaced out, bro, because it's like they're so open-minded that there is no lines to be found, because they've obliterated any definition. I mean, once again, don't be closed-minded, but you want to still have some form to your brain. They've blown out the shape of their own minds to be open-minded to the point where there's nothing. We still need to have some shape, bro. It was just about squeezing. You know what I mean? Everything must have its shape. It's matter. Matter has a shape, right? They want to get to the form of nothingness, and that's it's something, man. Like, you way out there, bro. Like, that's why the West Coastians produce all of the serial killers and all the nutcases, because they're fucking like, hey, and that's where we got, most of our ideas about LSD and acid, which I refuse to do, by the way. No, I have never dropped acid, but I can tell who has. And I was able to pick out somebody at the bar last night. And I said to him, you look like somebody who's dropped acid once in your life. And he said, yeah, you're right. I've only dropped it once. And I'm like, exactly. You look like somebody who only dropped it once. And I mean that, because that's the last time you wanted to. And he said, yeah, you're right. And I said, exactly. I can tell. I can just tell the drugs people have done. You know what I mean? It's just something about them. There's just something about somebody who's done acid. It's just something. They have like some very Albert Einstein-y qualities. Like they take the form, I told him he looked like a Hispanic Albert Einstein. Because he did. I'm like, you're fucking Albert Einstein, bro. And I do believe that in a way, like when you start to adhere to thoughts and beliefs and a whole lot of other shit I don't have time to talk about right now, you start to look like somebody that existed before, just because you're taking on the shape of their mind. And it, like, people who fought, like, are secret followers of Hitler, they start looking like Hitler, and start talking like him, because they're channeling his spirit. By believing in what Hitler was preaching, you're channeling his essence. So you start looking and talking like Hitler also. You know what I mean? I don't know, bro. Maybe not. But, yeah. Have you ever seen somebody who looks like Marilyn Monroe, but they don't, but they do because they're channeling? I just see stuff, bro. I see like layers of people. I see the mask. I see the shape of the person. Like when we say persona, if there's a female out here whose idol is Marilyn Monroe, so she's trying to emulate Marilyn Monroe. And how would she do that? Well, quite simply, you look at photos of her, watch clips of her, watch movies of her, and you can channel her spirit because you see her. You have evidence of her personality to emulate her, which is very dangerous in the world of black magic. Now, when I went to the bookstore today to get books, I shuffled through a few that I wanted to get, and I knew I had to get 2 books only. I knew this, and it's like, why couldn't you get more than 2? I'm like, because it had to be 2, just 2. So I saw 2 books that were about hoodoo, and it broke down hoodoo a certain way. I was toggling between the herbs and roots and hoodoo book and this book called Chaos Magic. Now, I had initially gone in there with the intent to buy Chaos Magic, but when I saw the herbs and roots and hoodoo book, I'm like, why not that one? I'm like, I have to get the Chaos Magic book, and then I'm like, one more book I have to get. And so I wanted to get a biography of a female that was known in some way to be a sex symbol. And so I was just looking for any type of biographical account of a female from the last 70 years that was like in some way a sex symbol. The first book I picked up was about Nicole Brown Simpson. I almost got that book, but I put it down. I said, not her. It's not a Nicole Brown Simpson vibe. Something else. So I found the Chaos Magic book. Very important that I got that. And then I found the book that I needed. And it was a $5 hard copy of Linda Lovelace's her biography. Very short. And I started reading it before I took a nap. And honestly, I'm just like, I have got to read this book out loud. I'm not big on reading books out loud on the internet because it's very boring, but this book has to be read out loud. Not saying the whole thing, but I need to read it out loud. So we're going to be having audiobook days on this channel. Books that maybe you've never heard about, Carl, but for $5, this bitch's life story was sold. And I'm going to be on here for free telling it. It is sad, girl. I'm not even 10 pages in, girl. I must like drop a tear. Drop a tear. That is sad. And there's no pictures in this book. Usually with biographies, they insert a few. This is me when I was 3. This is me when I was 10. This is me and my mommy. You know, pictures. There's no pictures. So I had this like image of what she looked like based off of what I'm reading. Didn't know that the bitch on the back of the book was her. Because I'm like, there's no way that must be her friend that wrote the book. No, that's her. Because I Googled her before I started this live stream. And let me just put it on the screen. This is Linda Lovelace. The way she is described in the book, I did not know that this is her. Because I'm like, what the fuck, bruh? What the fuck? This is fucking Linda Lovelace? The one and only Linda Lovelace? The way she's described in the book, it's like you would not know that she looks like this. This is the most regular looking person I have ever seen. Which is crazy because of what she's known for and what she talks about in this book. It's like, wow, you are just very plain looking. So you had that much cock? Damn. I've said it before and I'll say it again. These plain-faced hoes are bigger whores than the females that are considered to be models. Like Angelina Jolie. I guarantee you, Angelina Jolie is less of a whore than Meryl Streep. And Meryl Streep isn't really a plain-faced hoe, but she's more plain-faced than... It's all about relativity. It's all about relativity. You know, you can be the baddest bitch in your town until a new bitch comes in. Relativity, girl. You're the hottest bitch at the truck stop. You feel me? You're the hottest bitch at the strip club. That's not saying a lot. I always try to tell bitches, don't get a big head about you thinking you the baddest bitch in town, because there's always a bitch out there badder than you, and you're in competition with her. So never get a big head at all. I've always known that. I'm like, yeah, all these dudes want to fuck me because I might be the best looking bitch in this bar. But there's always a better bitch that could walk in. And I always want her to. I want the baddest bitch in America to walk in the bar while I'm in it. Then we'll see who's the baddest. Because these bitches are nervous. These bitches, and I'm going to say this before I head out. These bitches want to eliminate the competition. Like, they'll want a bitch to stay inside so he doesn't see her. Have you ever met a bitch like that? I hope she stays inside so he doesn't see her, because just her being in the same room with her is a threat. So she just wants to pretend that she doesn't exist. Like, just lock her away in the tower. Have you ever met that bitch? They'll lock her away in the tower so he doesn't ever see how beautiful she is, so he might choose her over me. Bitch, that's incredibly insecure. If you're secure in yourself, you should be able to be around any bitch and not feel threatened. I'm talking about the baddest bitches of the baddest bitches, like bitches on bitches on bitches. Like, if I am who I am and I'm secure in myself, this is about being secure in yourself. I should be able to be around all of the baddest bitches that people say are the most beautiful women in the world and not feel threatened. You bitches are not on that level. I'm talking about bitches of all ages, bad bitches of all ages. Like Cindy Crawford is still considered a bad bitch. I'm talking about Tyra Banks. I'm talking about motherfucking, Beyonce. I'm talking about Rihanna. Bring them on. Who's the baddest bitch in the bar? We got to bring all the bad bitches to the bar to find out, because you're sitting there acting like you're the baddest bitch in the bar. You're not the baddest bitch in America. You bitches is way too egotistical. I'm very small-minded about myself. I'm like, I'm not a bad bitch at all. So everybody looks better than me. And I treat everybody like they look better than me. It makes life more fun for me. I don't go in the bar and say, I look better than all these bitches. I literally don't think anything. I say, you all look great. I don't think anything of, because bitches will go to a bar. Bitches are always like comparing themselves. Like, yeah, I look better than her. I don't do that. I don't do that. I look better than her. I always say, you look better than me as default. Yeah, you look better than me. You look better than me. You all look better than me. Okay. But these plain-faced hoes, they're the most sinister ones. They're the biggest deep throats there are, these plain-faced hoes. She's no great beauty. In fact, she looks exactly like a female that I know that works at a bar downtown. And I can tell sucks a lot of dick because she sounds like it. You ever just met a bitch that you just know sucks a lot of dick? They talk a certain way. Because you do fuck up your palate sucking dick. So you can tell who sucks a lot of dick. A lot of them have like a lisp, a little bit of lisp sometimes. Because they sucked so much dick. I deadass mean this shit. They have what I call cum throat, where it sounds like they have a lot of saliva in the back of their throat, and there's always this smacking sound when they talk. They don't have a clear palate. There's always just like a light smacking sound because they suck a lot of dick. That's why. Guaranteed. I call them cum throats because they're deep throats. Linda Lovelace is the pioneer of, porn in America. And that's where we learned about deep throating. And then every female wants to be that. A lot of the things that we're into sexually is we learned it from porn, not because we would actually be doing that if we hadn't seen some porn. Porn really just shaped America's sex life. And if you think that it hasn't, you're lying to yourself. Everybody sucked a dick before because you thought about what you saw on a porn or what you saw simulated in some place. It's all porn. America is porn, bruh. America is pure porn. Everything about America is pure food is it's all porn. It's all fucking porn. And I mean that in the sexual sense. It's all porn. People watch, those ASMR channels with people eating. It's sexual for people. That's why they like it. All this shit's sexual. Sometimes, that's why I don't like drinking with a straw, because dudes be like, oh, you sucking on that straw like you're going to suck on my dick. Perverts. Like, you can't even use a straw. And the reason why I use a straw with my alcohol is because it's so highly in the sugar content. Not because I just like to suck on straws. Okay? It's the sugar content for me. It's just like, it's about avoiding your teeth, basically. but perverts like, oh, you just sucking on that dick. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get this motherfucking lime juice down my motherfucking throat. And it is true, I do change up my voice. I am fake like that. Like, this is my authoritative stance voice, like, you're not gonna fuck with me, bitch voice. And then I have my bedroom voice. Yes, of course. I take this approach because I'm dealing with bitch niggas all fucking day. You know what I mean? You have a certain tone of voice. I don't like talking this way. I tell Okama this all the time. I tell Okama, you've never heard my real voice. Because it's just like, it's saved for somebody. Like, I do have a voice that's saved for somebody and only he will hear it. I've told Okama this a million times. She's like, that's cool. I don't want to hear your bedroom voice. I don't like bitches who walk around with their bedroom voice out. You know what I mean? Like, they're always like, hey, yeah. They talk like this all the time. And it's like, they're always in their whispering sweet nothings in your ear voice. Even, can I order like a 3-piece chicken nuggets with a sweet tea and a large fry? Bitch, can you just like talk normal? Like, why are you using your I'm about to eat, to have sex voice at McDonald's? Yeah, I want to order like a vodka cranberry. Are you also ordering a platter of sex? Like, why are you always sounding like you're trying to seduce us when you hop on the microphone? You know what I mean? It's that for me. So I don't like using that voice because it sounds so sexual. So I purposely talk in this, like, more in my nasal cavity because I'm aware of it. And when I want to not be in my nasal cavity, meaning I'm not trying to be sexual voice, I try to have an asexual, like when I'm talking to dudes, it's not just about what I'm saying to them. It's about how I'm saying it and the tone of voice that I'm using, because dudes tune into that. So if I'm sitting there talking to a dude at a bar it's not, once again, focus on the sound of my voice, not what I'm saying. And there's this dude that walks up to me and I'm not trying to give him sexual energy off top. I talk like this. But if I just sit there and be like, hey, yeah, my name is Yana. Yeah, I'm 32. I'm 35, excuse me. I forgot. Yes. Yeah. And, blah, blah, blah. It's just too sexual for me. I'm just saying, I just needed to say that because a lot of times I feel fake because I am putting on a voice. Everybody's done it. You have your work voice and you have your at-home voice. Same thing for me. So when I'm talking to a dude at a bar, I speak in this tonality. It's very business, business casual, because I don't want to use my bedroom voice on him so soon. Like, I don't want to hit him with hey, my name is Joy, because this is my real voice. It's relaxed. I don't give them my relaxed bedroom voice because that's when I'm supposed to be most relaxed. If I'm using this voice with you in the bedroom, I'm not relaxed. Seriously. And who wants to be in the bedroom when they're not relaxed? Which is why I cannot be fucking with these dudes. Like, I want to have relaxed sex and I cannot have sex if I'm not relaxed. Okay. Chance, honestly and ironically enough, was very relaxed sex for me. I did not feel, that's what's crazy, actually. I do have to note that. I was in no way, in any shape, way, or form, in a state of unease when the one dude that I've had sex with since my ex came over and we had sex. I was not in any state of like nervousness or unease. I felt totally relaxed. Crazily enough, he was the one that was nervous. You know what I mean? Like, I was not nervous about getting dick in my vagina. Girl, bye. It's biology. What's nerve-wracking is you don't love me. And what the fuck? But I mean, the sex is not nerve-wracking. Like, oh my God, dick. Jesus Christ, it's so scary. Like, it's fucking nature, bruh. I'm not afraid of dick, bruh. It's just like, I'm afraid of getting fucked by somebody who doesn't give a shit about me. That's what scares me. Not the dick. Not the dick in the vagina. That doesn't scare me. That's very, very basic. What scares me is having sex with somebody who doesn't care about me at all. That terrifies me. Okay? I gotta go. It was great talking to you guys. We'll be reading Linda Lovelace's biography in parts in this this college course that's free. It's relaxed. You can do drugs in my college, We're not really in a rush. It's like the old way of teaching, it's not like regimented learning, it's just like we just show up and talk and discuss information. We might learn a few things. I don't know if you're going to learn anything. It's not my problem as the educator. I just give you the information and either you get it or you don't. Like, okay, just kidding. I'm not a teacher. I'm not trying to teach no fucking body. And I feel like I'd be a horrible teacher if I was going to be a teacher. Because do I have the patience? I don't think so. I got to go. We got to go have a few drinks tonight. And I think I'm going to be wearing my sweatpants tonight. It's definitely giving cozy clothes tonight. Like, be fully dressed. Because I feel like there's a virus going around. And I don't want anything to get on my legs. That's why I've been wearing shorts out almost every weekend. It's going to be iconic because I'm going to be covering my little legs up tonight. We're done looking at those tattoos. Nobody gets to see my leg tattoos tonight, girl. Okay, enough.